How you doing, fam bam? This is Chris Mizo here, and I have the best motherboards that you can get for 2022. LGA 1700 socket is here, which is compatible with Intel's newest generation of processors. And also, don't worry AMD fans, I got your back because I do have AM4 sockets on this very list. So before you purchase a motherboard, make sure it has everything that you are looking for. Whether it is PCI Express 5.0 or you just prefer NVMe 4.0 because you care about those solid state drive speeds, make sure it has USB-C. Maybe you're looking for better onboard audio. So you want to look and hear for these things because when you do purchase a motherboard, it's going to be in there. And remember, if you are trying to future-proof, make sure you get a very decent motherboard because if you go cheap on a motherboard, it won't last very long. Especially if you're like me or if you like to constantly upgrade your system, make sure you get a decent motherboard. You can always upgrade your BIOS and you're practically going to be future proofed. If you play games like Fortnite or any type of battle royale games, then it probably isn't going to really matter as much for you. Now, if you're interested in any of these motherboards that I do mention that are the best for 2022, make sure you go in the description box down below as I have the best listed prices. And also, I do have ExpressVPN exclusive for the fan bam for 2 months free. Also, on a side note, remember the fitment that you have for your PC case. Whether it's ATX or micro ATX, make sure that the motherboard does fit in your case. That will be pretty important. For the standard custom build, most people do go with ATX. So without further ado, let's get into it. The very first one I gotta mention is ASRock's Z690 Tai Chi motherboard. You probably haven't heard too much about this motherboard and probably one of the most unspoken Z690 chipsets out there for a motherboard, but it should be on this very list and deservingly so. When you hear ASRock, you're probably wondering why. I get it, I'm not the biggest fan of ASRock myself, but wait till you hear this. Their motherboard from the gate can handle up to DDR5 6400 MHz. The BIOS is very user friendly. It does feature up to 2 PCI Express 5.0 slots. For all those who are looking for a motherboard that can be future proofed. There are a couple of downsides. It is also very well known that ASRock does not have the best RGB quality and it is not really too user friendly when it comes to that side of things. Doesn't usually like to play along with other RGB software that is third party. And this board is also a little bit higher than most due to the newer LGA 1700 socket technology. You can purchase this very motherboard for $599.99 USD at current market price. Next, I gotta mention MSI's Z690 Carbon Wi-Fi motherboard. MSI is a very reputable and trusting brand. Regardless if you're doing a creator build or if you're building a gaming PC, MSI is definitely a motherboard to be considered. This does support Intel's newest 12th generation socket as it has up to 4 PCI Express 4.0 slots for very fast NVMe speeds. So you can hook up all your workflow through this very motherboard and it will have no problem handling it. With very fast speed, there you have it. You have up to 4 NVMe slots. The VRM technology is amazingly well, and the temperatures, I gotta say, are amazing on this board. I was even shocked to see it myself. As you know that I built a MSI creators build. If you haven't seen it, you can always check it out in the card above or check it out in the description box down below. This is the very reason why MSI is to be trusted when it does come to motherboards. The best part is you can purchase a beast of a motherboard for only $399.99 USD. That is a very tough price to beat when it comes to Z690 motherboards. Next, I gotta mention MSI's B450 Tomahawk Max 2. Are you surprised to see a B450 motherboard be on this very list of 2022? You really shouldn't, because this was way ahead of its time. This motherboard does feature BIOS flashback, which is also a very nice feature to have. DDR4 memory, where it has up the clock speeds of 4,133 megahertz. I gotta say, MSI's Tomahawk is a gamer's delight, as this motherboard has plenty of power to render, has very fast NVMe speeds. What is really super impressive about this board is its quality when it comes to their audio capacitor. MSI's Tomahawk would be great, especially if you're using a PC for a studio. MSI's Tomahawk also does feature up to 6 fan headers, as cooling is super important, and it does also feature USB-C. MSI does have an excellent warranty service, and it is up to 3 years. You can get MSI's Tomahawk Max 2 for $114.99 USD at current market price. Next is Asus ROG Maximus Z690 Hero. I know, I'm pretty surprised myself to actually put this on the list, and I can't be biased about it. I know what some of you are probably already thinking because you already heard of my debacle with Asus and its issues. Also, for those who were there and heard the story that I had to tell about Asus's issue, they did end up refunding me completely, including my shipping fee. Thanks to Hardcore Overclocking for figuring that issue out for Asus. Even though this motherboard is quite controversial, it does deserve a spot. So if you do purchase this motherboard, make sure to check the stripe on the capacitor. But anyway, the point is not really about the capacitors. What does this motherboard really feature? It does have PCI Express 5.0, and it does come with a PCI Express 5.0 expansion slot when they do come with NVMe 5.0 eventually. The power stage design on this motherboard is really impressive. I believe it is up to 20:1, and it does have 6 layers of PCBs. So its power delivery is quite amazing. It does have a price tag of $599.99 USD. That is one of the reasons why it's not on the very top spot. Wait till you hear the next motherboard. Gigabyte's X570 Aorus Master. Gigabyte really has been quite impressive this year, from its powerful VRMs to its dope design. This motherboard is probably everything that you would want in an AM4 board. This motherboard does feature up to Wi-Fi 6 compatibility. It does have up to 3 PCI Express 4.0 expansion slots and a ton of USB 3.1 Gen 2 ports. Gigabyte's motherboard does screen quality, does have a solid steel panel, which does make it quite heavy, but it does have that very premium feel. And this motherboard is made for PC enthusiasts, as at current market price, it is at $299.99 USD. Next, I gotta mention Asus's Crosshair 8, which is a AM4 socket, their X570. Asus is really one of the top-notch chipset makers out there. This is the board that you will want for your AMD Ryzen, because the power is practically unlimitless when it comes to this board. This motherboard does also feature Wi-Fi 6 built in, and it does have a premium 6:1 power stage. Asus does have some really beautiful ARGBs throughout this motherboard, and it does have a BIOS flashback. It even features up the speeds of DDR4, which can go up to 4,866 MHz, which is pretty insane, which can keep up with DDR5 at its current state. If you're looking for a motherboard that is future-proof and can do everything that you can think of, take a look at AMD's Crosshair 8, as it is only $395 USD at current market price. And I gotta mention here, Gigabyte's Z690 Aorus Master. Gigabyte has done it. One of the best and most powerful boards that you can get your hands on in 2022. Gigabyte has shown their superiority for their 105 amp power stage, which is 19:1/2. This motherboard does also feature PCI Express 5.0 and up to 4 PCI Express 4.0 slots. What is really super impressive about this motherboard, it has a 10 GB Ethernet port. Another really nice thing is it's super user friendly because of Q-Flash, which is for their BIOS. So you can even install a BIOS update even if you don't have a CPU quite ready inside of your motherboard. The RGBs are just beautiful on this motherboard, and it is quite stunning. So if you're planning to get Intel's newest 12th generation, this is the top Z690 board that you can get your hands on, which doesn't require any piping for custom liquid cooling. So if you're interested in any of these motherboards, make sure you check out the description box down below, as I have them all listed. Now, if you know anyone who is looking to build a PC, make sure you share this very video with them. And if you want a custom PC personally built by me, just let me know in my email. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to join the big wonderful fan bam, if you already haven't, make sure you go down and hit the subscribe button for more. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. And for all the newest updates, make sure to follow my Twitter handle right here, as it is the same as my TikTok and IG as well. So fan bam guys, what motherboards do you like currently in 2022? Let me know in my comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Chris Mizo signing out.